Hi, I'm Laura. I'm the Communications Director in the 38 Degrees staff team. Getting some media coverage can be a huge boost to your campaign, and it's a lot easier to achieve than you might expect. So I'm about to take you through the 5 steps of working with the media. First things first, decide what goal you need the media to help you reach. You might want to get some media coverage to help put more pressure onto your campaign target. You might decide that you really want to spread the word about an event you're running. Or you might want to spread your petition as wide as possible to attract some more signatures. Whichever goal you choose, make sure that you keep it in mind as you go through the process, because it will really help to keep you focused. The second stage is to decide which journalists you want to target. The journalists you pick will really depend on the goal of your campaign. If you want to put pressure on your local council, then that probably means that your local paper and local radio station will be the perfect target. After all, councils tend to care a lot about what their local media is saying. But on the other hand, if your campaign's about a specific issue that goes beyond your local area, for example, issues like animals, the environment, or government cuts, then you might decide to focus on journalists from newspapers and magazines who have a really special interest in that issue. So when you're choosing which journalists and news outlets to target, always keep the goal of your campaign in mind. Next, it's time to sit down and write your press release. Most journalists will want to see a press release before they agree to cover your campaign. And that's because it's just the simplest way to get down all the main information you think they need to know in one place. And it will really show them just how interesting your story is. There are a few golden rules to follow when it comes to press releases. Even if the issue is really complicated, you should aim to put it in the simplest language you can, so there's no room at all for confusion. A good rule of thumb is to think about how you might explain your campaign to family or friends over dinner. You'll also need to make sure that you write your press release in a way that isn't biased to one side of the argument or the other. That's because a journalist will need to write about your campaign in a way that doesn't give away their own opinion. So you'll be making life a lot easier for them if you write your press release based on facts, not opinion. Finally, make sure that you write yourself a really good quote in your press release. This is the place where you really can express your opinion, and it's one of the most important ways for you to get your message across. If you write a quote with plenty of snappy sound bites and interesting opinions, it will have a really good chance of getting into the paper. Don't forget to include the web address of your petition in your press release. Here's one example of a press release, and there are a few things that you'll notice about it. It's really short and to the point, and it explains exactly what the story is in the very first sentence. It also includes their contact details and the web address of the petition. Next, it's time to pick up the phone to some journalists, and it's usually best to call them first thing in the morning. You can usually find a journalist's phone number and email address by using an internet search engine, or just by calling the switchboard of the newspaper or TV station. When you get through, you could just say to the journalist that you've got a story that you think they might be interested in, and then set out the main gist of your campaign in a nutshell. Before your call, you could try practicing describing your campaign in one single sentence. That's because you'll need to make it as snappy as possible to attract their attention. Journalists are often working to tight deadlines and get loads of phone calls, so don't be too surprised if they're a bit short with you on the phone. The main point of the phone call is to alert the journalist to your story, and so they'll often ask you to send through a press release for them to read. Once you're off the phone, send them the press release and then make sure you include your contact details. Not every journalist will be interested in your story, so it's really important to call a few different ones to give your campaign the best chance of getting some media coverage. After a few days, you'll probably be seeing some media coverage come in. Congratulations! Don't forget to make sure that you show it off. Share it on social media, update your Campaigns by You petition page, and most importantly, remember to email the people who've signed your petition to tell them about the news too. Getting some media coverage can be an incredibly powerful way of growing and then winning your campaign. So good luck!